Hey everyone, welcome back to Concatenate. My name is Arsh. This is episode 2 of the Cybersecurity Crash Course. In this episode, we will be taking a look at using the terminal. In the last episode, we delved into setting up Kali Linux as our virtual machine. So if you don't have a Kali Linux virtual machine, please look at the first episode and install it for yourself. Now let's unravel the mysteries of the terminal. So right now we are in our Kali Linux environment. Let me just quickly make it full screen. There we go. And the terminal is located right up here. So you can either click on this icon to open the terminal, or you can use the shortcut Ctrl-Alt-T to open the terminal. Once you've got it, let me just quickly zoom in a little bit. So you can press Ctrl and plus to zoom in, or you can just use the edit keys from right there. So I'm just going to quickly use the shortcut, make it a little easier to see. Alright, so now that we have the terminal up, let's dive into some basic commands. Let's start with pwd. This command is short for print working directory. It shows us exactly where we are in the file system. So Linux works on file systems. The terminal works on file systems. So if you see over here, we've got ourselves our username, which is Kali. We've got ourselves our host name, which is the name of our Linux environment, which is also Kali in this case. And we have a little bracket here, which shows us our location. So this icon, or this character, is known as tilde. Tilde stands for the home directory. So wherever you see this in Linux, it means home. So if we type pwd and press enter, it tells us that we are in the Kali user's home directory. So home/Kali. That's where we are right now. Imagine you're in a maze. pwd is your trusty map, which reveals your current location. Next up we have is ls. This command lists all the files and directories in our current location. So if I type ls and press enter, you can see it shows us all the files and directories we have inside our home directory. So our home directory contains desktop, documents, downloads, music, etc. It's like peeking into a box to see what's inside. So let's just say we want to see what's inside the desktop folder. So what we would do is type ls space and the name of the folder you want to take a look inside. So we will type desktop. Now note that it is case sensitive, so the D needs to be capital as it's capital over here. We're going to press enter, and it shows us that our desktop has a folder named test. It has 3 text files, and if I just quickly make the terminal smaller, you can see that's exactly the case. Over here we have the test folder, we have 3 text files, and that's exactly what we see over here. So ls just showed us what's inside the desktop folder. If I ls documents, it doesn't show anything because the documents folder doesn't have anything inside it. So let's just quickly verify that. Let's click on this little folder button at the top and go to documents and click open folder. As you can see, documents is empty. So that's exactly what our terminal showed us. There's nothing inside of it. So you can even see what's inside the folders without even opening them with ls. If you just type ls normally without specifying a folder, it will just show you what's inside your current working directory, which we saw with pwd. That was home, or the tilde icon as it shows here. Now let's create a directory. What if you want to create a folder yourself from the terminal? For that, we use the command mkdir. This stands for make directory. If I press mkdir and press enter, you can see it says missing operand. So it's expecting some more input after this command. So we want to specify the name of the directory that we want to create. So in this case, mkdir space, let's call this folder example. Press enter. And now it has been created. How do you verify that? Let's list all the directories and files inside the home directory. If I type ls and press enter, you can see that now we have an example folder, which was not there previously, as you can see from our previous output. So we have just created a directory named example, and now you can see it over here. How do I see what's inside example? Can you take a guess? We type ls example. Now since we just created this directory, it doesn't have any files inside, not unless we create some files inside of it. Now if you want to create a file inside example, you need to be in that directory first. So currently, as you can see, all of our previous commands we have run, we are still inside our home directory. For every single command, we've been inside home. So what if I want to go inside this example folder? For that, we use the command cd. cd lets us navigate between directories. It lets us change directories, which is what cd stands for. Change directory, space, and then the name of the directory that we want to get into. So in our case, let's get inside example. So I'm going to type example and press enter. And now as you see, this thing over here has changed. It says that we are inside the example folder, which is in itself the home directory. So home/example means that the example folder exists within the home directory. If I type ls, we don't have any output because the example folder is currently empty. So as you can see, with cd you can move through your file system and you can see what's inside of them using ls. Now what if I want to create an empty file inside of this? So I can use the command touch. Touch is used to create files. So if I type touch space the name of the file I want to create, so let's say I want to create a text file named example.txt. So I will type the name example.txt. So you provide the file name and the extension and press enter. And the command was successfully run because we didn't get any errors. So now if I type ls, you can see that our example directory has a file inside of it, example.txt. Now let's say I want to read what's inside this file. So I want to open this file and read what it contains. For that, we have a command cat. Now this is not the animal cat. Cat is a short form for the word concatenate. That's where I get the reference for my name from. If you use cat to read a file, you just need to put the command cat and type the name of the file, example.txt. Press enter and it will show you what's inside. So currently example.txt is empty. So let's open this within our normal graphical user interface. So I will go here into home, which is a folder. This will open up my file manager. We will go to the example folder, which we created from the terminal. And over here you can see we have example.txt. So I will open this with my text editor Mousepad, which is the default editor which is inside Kali Linux. So over here we have Mousepad. I will type some text inside of this. So this text was entered from Mousepad. Now let's save this. So you can press Ctrl S or just click the button over here, and this should save your file. Once I'm done with it, I can close this. Let's go back into the terminal and then cat example.txt. If I cat example.txt, you can see the content of the file. This text was entered from Mousepad. So this is how you read files. Cat lets you read files. Now let's say you want to get out of this example directory and go back a step. Go back into your home directory. To go back, you need to type cd to change directory, because that's what we're trying to do, and press ... One dot in Linux means the current directory, where you are right now. 2 dots means the one before it. So if you type cd ... it will take you one directory behind where you are right now. So if I press enter now, you can see we are out of example, one step behind, and we're back in the home directory. So now if I type pwd, you can see we are back inside home Kali. But if I were in example, if I was in the example folder and here I typed pwd, you can see we are currently in home Kali example. So cd ... just takes us one step behind. Now we're in home Kali. So these are some essential commands that we took a look at. We have taken a look at the ls command, the mkdir command, the cd command, the touch command. Now let's just say that you remember the commands but you don't know what these commands do. So you need some sort of a manual to tell you what each command does. Now some commands have additional parameters. So let's say, for example, the mkdir command didn't work by itself, as we see. It told us, okay, we need some essential operands after this. So it tells us, okay, use mkdir --help. Now this --help is known as a flag. A flag is just an essential, an optional argument that you can provide along with the command. So if we use this same thing which is given here, mkdir --help, this help is a flag for the mkdir command. So if I press enter now, it prints a whole lot of stuff, which is a help section for the mkdir command. So it gives you the usage, mkdir, then provide the option and the directory. Now what are the options? Over here you can see these are options. -m stands for mode, which is setting the file mode. We have -p, which is parents, which means it will make parent directories as needed. Now this is something advanced, so this is just an example of what options you can use or arguments you can use after using the mkdir command. If you want to see the version of mkdir which we are using, we can even do that. We can type mkdir --version, and this will give you the copyright information and the version number for that command, which is 9.4. So mkdir 9.4 is what's installed on our Linux environment. So that's cool. Now let's say we want to see some more information. Now let's say that there is some command which doesn't have this help section. We want something more. So we can use the man command. Now man is short for manual. So we will type man space and then the command that we want to see the help section for. So in our case, mkdir. Press enter, and this gives us a little manual for the mkdir command. It gives you the name, the synopsis, what the usage is like, and a little description of what the command does, including the arguments. So you can use your scroll wheel to scroll through this. As you can see, it's the same thing, but it is provided on the man page in a more readable format. And the man command works for almost every official command that Linux contains. So if you want to quit out of this, you can press the Q button to quit. So if I press Q, I'm out of that manual page. Let's say I want to see the manual page for another command we have studied. For example, the command touch. What does touch do? Touch helps us create files. So let's see the manual page for touch. So if I type man touch, this tells us, okay, touch is used to change file timestamps, which is just a fancy way of saying, okay, create files. A file argument does not exist, is created empty, unless -c or -h is supplied. Now what is -c? C means no create, do not create any files. -h stands for no dereference. Okay, that's something advanced, so that's okay, but we're just taking a look at how to open the manual page for commands. So this is user commands, touch, and this is the manual page for it. So if you ever come across a command yourself that you don't know what it does, you can use man and then specify that command. If I type man, it just gives me the manual page for the command man. So it says man is an interface to the system reference manuals. And over here it gives us some more information about the man command itself. So that's pretty neat, isn't it? Now let's say that we want to install some stuff. So I am someone that likes to install some program or some tool, and I like to do it right from the terminal. I don't want to go on Google and download some setup file, and most of the applications in Linux usually don't even have that procedure, which you will find on Windows, where you have to go on your browser and go to the website of that application and download a setup file, click next install, and all of that stuff. Most of the things are done right here through the terminal. So for that, we will use a command called apt. apt stands for Advanced Packaging Tool. apt is a command which is used to install and manage software on Linux. So let's say we want to install something. I want to install, there is a text editor called gedit, which is used to install, it's like a notepad file. It's like Notepad, but a Linux version of Notepad. We already saw Mousepad, which is what we used to edit that file before this, but there is another one called gedit, and it doesn't come installed on Kali by default. So if I want to install it, I would type apt space install and then the name of that app, so gedit. Press enter, and it gives us an error. It says could not open some file, and it says permission denied. Then it says unable to get some file, and it says are you root. Now what exactly does it mean by are you root? So Linux has two kinds of users, like Windows and like macOS. It has normal users that have normal permissions, and it has administrators or root users. So Linux comes with one root user, and the username of that user is also root. So the root user has access to everything. The root user has all permissions. It can do anything. So to get root permissions for our Kali user, we use something called sudo, or sudo as some people might like to call it. Sudo or sudo stands for super user do. Super user also means root. Administrator, root, super user, they all mean the same. So sudo will let you run specific commands as the root user, so with the permissions of the root user. So if I type sudo apt install gedit, this will ask me for my password. So it says password for Kali. So the password you used to log into your Kali machine, which by default is Kali, you need to type that over here. Now be mindful that when you're typing out the password, you will not see it for the sake of security, but just be sure that it is getting typed out, so you don't have to see it to be typed out. Just type it out and press enter, and this will do it for you. So when you type that, it will go over, it will install it for you. Now I already have it, so I will uninstall it. To remove things using apt, so if you want to uninstall an application using apt, like for example I want to install gedit over here, we would use the same command, sudo apt, but instead of install, we will use the command purge. Purge will delete the application, delete all the user files that the application created, all the configuration, everything that has ever had to do with this application will get purged. That's basically what it does. Space, and then the name of that application, gedit. Press enter, and it says, okay, these were the applications, blah blah blah. Do you want to go ahead with this operation? It says after this operation, this much size of disk space will be freed. So it even tells you, okay, we are going to delete this app, and this is how much space will be freed. This is how much you're going to get back. And it asks you, do you want to continue? Yes or no. So we will type Y and press enter to continue with it. For some reason, if you decide not to continue, you can type N and it'll close. So as you see, removing gedit, and now it's gone. Now if I type gedit, it shouldn't technically work. As you see, it says command gedit was not found, but it can be installed with this command, sudo apt install gedit. Do you want to install it? Now, we're not going to do this from here because we want to type the command manually. So I'm going to type this same thing over here, sudo apt install gedit. Press enter, and it says, okay, it's already installing it. It will go through, get the list, and it's going to say, okay, we are setting up gedit, and it's done. So now if I type gedit, you can see we can open it up. Now for some reason you might not be able to do this right at the start. So if you've installed a fresh Kali Linux machine, you will not be able to do this. That's because you need to update your package list. The command apt uses a package list which comes inside your Kali Linux environment, and whenever packages get updated, you need to update your package list as well. So the command to update your list is very easy. Just type sudo apt update. See, it's as simple as that. Do that and press enter. And it's going to go ahead and update your list. So as you see, it has a bunch of lists which it's updating, and some of them are a little hefty, 44 MB, 19 MB, but that's okay. Just wait for this process to finish, and then run the same command again if it didn't work for you the first time, and now it should work. Now, I would recommend that you run this command, sudo apt update, every time you want to install something. Now, or at least make it a practice to update at least once every few weeks, so twice a month. just run the update command once at the beginning of the month and once at the end. This is just to make sure that you have the latest package list on your PC, so that when you install files, you're getting the most updated version of that specific file or program. So I've run sudo apt update, and now I can go ahead and install whatever I want this way. So that's pretty cool. Now let's say I want to see all the applications that start with the word GE. So I'm going to go ahead and type the same command, sudo apt install GE, and then if I press tab, it's going to give me an autocomplete feature, where if I press tab again, I can cycle through all the things that it has. So as you see, all of these start with GE, which is the letters we provided it, and then the rest of it is just whatever the packages are. So let's say we want to install something, gedit common, for example. That's the one we want. So you can use arrow keys to go up and down and left and right in this list. Scroll over to whatever you want. So in our case, gedit common, press enter, and now it has auto-filled it for us. And now if I press enter again, it's going to go ahead and install it. Now since we installed gedit common was also installed along with it, so we don't have to do it. It says gedit common is already the newest version. So this is how you install packages in Linux. So whether it's adding new tools to your toolkit or upgrading existing ones, apt is your go-to command. Let's talk about upgrading. Let's say gedit is not the most updated version we have. So running sudo apt update is only going to update your package list, but not the packages that you have already installed. For that, we need to use upgrade. Upgrade is going to install and update all the packages which are currently installed on your PC. So if I type sudo apt upgrade, you can see it tells me, okay, these are all the different applications that we have that will be upgraded. So there's quite a lot of them. So it's recommended that when you install Linux freshly for the first time, you should run the update command and the upgrade command, so that all the existing tools get upgraded to their latest versions and your package list gets updated. So as you see, it takes 700 MB of additional space. If I use yes, you can see it is slowly installing everything that was on that list up there, and you can see a percentage value at the bottom left, which will show you how much percentage is done. So this might take some time. I'm just going to let this run, and we'll be back once it's finished. So there we go, guys. As you can see, we have successfully finished upgrading our packages. Now sometimes it might give you this error. It says unable to fetch some archives, maybe run apt-get update or try with fix missing. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Apt-get is something which is going to get something from the internet if you don't already have it in your PC's package list. So we're going to type apt-get update, press enter, and let it update our package list. Now that we're done, let's try to run apt update upgrade again. And this time, hopefully it doesn't give us the same error. If it does, we can do the second thing which it suggested, which was another command, which is -- fix missing. So let's try to do that. We will type sudo apt install -- fix missing. Press enter, and it finished. Let's try to upgrade now. Yes. Okay, so it apparently has a problem with this side here, the nsis common.deb. It says connection failed. So, let's try to install it ourselves. So sudo apt get install nsis common, that's the name, as you can see here. And then it says the version number, so which we can ignore because we want the latest version, so we just need the name. Press enter, and it's going to install it for you. Press Y and wait for it to finish installing. As you can see, it is causing an error once again, where it says, okay, unable to fetch some archives, try with fix missing. It says connection failed, so that's fine. What we can do is we can run apt-get upgrade and -F to force. Press Y, and hopefully it should work. Let's take a look. No, that didn't work. That's okay. I think this repository is just a little outdated at the moment, so we're just going to wait for it to fix it. It should probably fix itself by tomorrow. Most of the times it gets fixed like right on the spot. So that's okay. As you can see, we have updated all of our packages with just one command, and it also updated our Linux PC. So on Windows, when you want to update something, Windows gives you an update, you go into settings and you finish that update, you restart your PC. That update is just for your Windows environment, it's just for your PC's hardware or firmware update. It doesn't update the packages, the applications that you have on your PC. Linux does everything at the same time. So as you can see, it updated my video drivers, it updated some of the applications that I have like Python 3, it updated some Python modules, as you can see here, Python 3 apt, Python 3 billiard and binwalk, and all of these are different modules for Python, so it updated that as well. It updated some libraries which were required, it updated some of my G++ applications, so it literally updated everything, including the apps and including Linux. So I think it updated my Linux firmware as well somewhere. So as you can see, it's all in alphabetical order. If we follow it to LIN, there you have it, Linux image. So it also updated our Linux PC using the same command. How cool is that? It's better than Windows. It updates everything at the same time. So that works. All you need to remember is sudo apt update and sudo apt upgrade. There you go. That's all we need to do. And that's a wrap for our crash course on the terminal. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the basics of navigation to some advanced stuff like package management. Remember, the key to mastering the terminal is practice. So don't be afraid to experiment and explore on your own. Try creating some folders yourself. Try running into some errors and Google as to how you can fix those errors. That's how you learn. Work on it yourself. Experiment and explore. In the next episode, we will be taking a look at some more commands, some more advanced commands on the Linux as to how to manage processes, and some advanced stuff like redirecting output from one file to another, stuff like that. We will take a look at all of that in the next episode. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you have any feedback, once again, please leave some comments. If there's anything specific that you'd like me to cover, please leave a comment and let me know. Like the video if you found it interesting, share it with your friends, and subscribe for notifications for my upcoming videos. So till then, thank you very much, take care, have a very nice day, and I will see you later. Bye.